Greetings, fellow Whovians. Whovian Queen here. Hope I have a good week so far. Well, our look at the 10th Doctor era now continues on with The Unicorn and the Wasp, which is my favorite episode from the season. So, yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at it. The 10th Doctor and Dawn invite themselves to a dinner party hosted by Lady Clemency Edison and her husband, Colonel Hugh Kirbishley, in 1926. They are thrilled to find one of the guests is Agatha Christie, and the Doctor realizes they've arrived on the day she will inexplicably disappear for 10 days. One of the guests is suddenly found dead in the library. Dun dun dun. The Doctor and Donna discover a viscous substance left behind by the killer that the Doctor identifies as morphic residue. He concludes that the murderer is an alien in human form. While searching in a room that had previously been empty for 40 years, Donna sees a gigantic wasp outside. It smashes through the window and attacks Donna, embedding its sting in the door before escaping. The creature then kills the housekeeper, Miss Chandrakala. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of that. The Doctor, Donna, and Agatha chase the alien, but it returns to human form before they catch it. When they regroup in the study, the Doctor identifies the substance from the sting as venom from an alien wasp called a Vespiform, before, all of a sudden, he is poisoned with cyanide. Luckily, his timeless physiology allows him to detoxify. Phew! During a failed attempt to reveal the wasp at dinner, Lady Edison's necklace is stolen, and her son Roger is stabbed in the back with a knife. The remaining guests are assembled in the sitting room. Agatha exposes one of the guests, Lady Robina Redmond, as a thief but not the murderer when she says toilet instead of the upper class saying loo. Then the Doctor deduces that Lady Edison's shutting herself away for months, years ago, was due to her becoming impregnated by another Vespiform, who had given her the necklace before he died in 1885. Unbeknownst to her, it links her telepathically with her child. The Doctor further reveals that the child, whom she gave up for adoption, is Reverend Golightly. Via the telepathic link, the Reverend becomes aware of his alien nature and absorbs the details of the murder of Roger Ackroyd, an Agatha Christie murder mystery his mother was reading at the time. Golightly transforms into the Vespiform and threatens the guests. Agatha grabs the necklace and lures him away while driving toward the nearby silent pool. When Donna catches up with Agatha, she grabs the necklace and throws it into the water, prompting the wasp to dive in after it and drown. Due to her own connection with the necklace, Agatha falls unconscious and suffers from amnesia. The Doctor quietly drops Agatha off near the Harrogate Hotel 10 days later, before showing Donna his copy of Death in the Clouds, in which wasps play a vital part, saying that Christie did remember after all. That's an interesting turn of events, so yeah. But anyway, so let's take a look at the continuity of some let's take a look at some continuities surrounding this episode. The Doctor produces items from a chest of items beginning with C, including a Cyberman chestplate from the Age of Steel, that of a Greco-Roman statue, possibly depicting Caecilius from the fires of Pompeii, and the crystal ball in which the Carrionites are trapped from the Shakespeare Code, which he playfully shakes. Early in the episode, the Doctor states his desire to meet Agatha Christie. This is a reference to the last of the Time Lords. Donna remarks that meeting Agatha Christie during a murder mystery will be as preposterous as meeting Charles Dickens surrounded by ghosts at Christmas, unknowingly describing the events of the unquiet dead. When Donna talks to Agatha about her cheating husband, she recalls her own engagement to Lance, in which she found out he was using her, briefly mentioning the Empress of Arachnos as a giant spider. This is a reference to the 2006 episode, The Runaway Bride. The Doctor has a flashback scene when unraveling motives with Agatha Christie. He's shown in medieval Belgium with a bow and quiver of arrows on his back. His voiceover explains that he was deep in the Adrance, looking for Charlemagne, who was kidnapped by an insane computer. Christie interrupts before he can paint a full picture. However, the events are fully explored on Doctor Who's BBC website in the short story, The Lonely Computer. That's interesting. Now let's take a look at the production of this episode, beginning with the writing. The episode is written by Gareth Roberts, who previously wrote the pseudo-historical episode The Shakespeare Code. Roberts was given a 4th series episode to write after executive producer Russell T. Davies revised Roberts' script for The Shakespeare Code. Several months later, he received an email from the production team which said Agatha Christie. The idea for a murder mystery featuring Agatha Christie came originally from producer Phil Collinson. Roberts, a self-confessed fan of Christie's works, made the episode into a comedy. Roberts based the episode on his favorite Christie works, Crooked House, which focuses on secrets within an aristocratic society, and the 1982 film adaptation of Evil Under the Sun. Speaking of both works, Robert noted that it was, quote, quite strange writing a modern Doctor Who with posh people in it. We really don't see posh people on television anymore, except at Christmas, and, quote, there's something funny about the veneer of upper-class respectability and the truth of any family underneath. He also stated that, quote, there's really nothing nicer than watching a lot of English actors hamming it up in a vaguely exotic location, and then somebody's murdered. The episode's title was deliberately chosen to sound vaguely Christie-ish, but Roberts admitted that, quote, Christie never used the blank of the blank construction. Yeah, that's very true, now that you think about it. In writing the episode, Roberts aimed to make the episode a, quote, big, fun, all-star murder mystery romp. He was influenced by advice given by Davies, who wanted Roberts to go funnier with every draft, and former Doctor Who script editor Douglas Adams' advice that, quote, a danger one runs is that the moment you have anything in the script that's clearly meant to be funny in some way, everybody thinks, oh, well, we could do silly voices and silly walks and so on, and I think that's exactly the wrong way to do it. Using this advice, he used the adage that in comedy, the characters do not realize the humor, and cited Basil Fawlty's mishaps in Fawlty Towers as an example. In an interview with Doctor Who magazine, Roberts stated that, quote, to a certain extent there was less pressure writing the episode. He was pleased with the success of the Shakespeare Code and the Sarah Jane Adventures 2-parter Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane, but likened himself to Corporal Bell, a member of the administrative staff at the fictional Doctor Who organization unit, and saying that he did not wish to be in the middle of things, writing episodes where big pivotal things have happened to the Doctor. Roberts and Davies held an unofficial contest to see how many references to Christie's works could be inserted. Titles that were noted were The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, Why Didn't They Ask Evans, The Body in the Library, The Secret Adversary, N or M, Nemesis, Cat Among the Pigeons, Dead Man's Folly, They Deal with Mirrors, Appointment with Death, Cards on the Table, Sparkling Cyanide, Endless Night, Crooked House, Death in the Clouds, The Moving Finger, Taken at the Flood, Death Comes as the End, Murder on the Orient Express, and The Murder at the Vicarage. A deleted scene referred to the man in the brown suit, referring to the Doctor's clothing. The narrative itself parallels several of Christie's novels. The jewel theft storyline parallels The Secret of the Chimneys. Miss Chandrakala's death was influenced by And Then There Were None, and the Colonel's revelation that he was not disabled paralleled a key concept of the Pale Horse. In an email conversation with journalist Benjamin Cook, Davies admitted he had initially added a reference to the original title of And Then There Were None, the N-word, which I'm not going to say on camera, but decided it was too risky. And now let's look at the cast notes, or some cast notes anyway. David Tennant's father, Alexander MacDonald, had a silent cameo as a footman in one of the early scenes, after being asked to act when visiting David on set. The casting of Fenella Woolgar as Agatha Christie was made at the suggestion of David Tennant, who had previously worked with her on Bright Young Things and He Knew He Was Right. She later played Helen Fillmore in the audio play The Company of Friends and Marilla Wendigo in Nevermore. Fenella Woolgar had previously appeared in an episode of Agatha Christie's Poirot, Lord Edgware Dies, as Ellis, and has since appeared in the episode Halloween Party as Elizabeth Whitaker. David Quilter has also made an appearance, The $1 Million Bond Robbery. Christopher Benjamin, who plays Colonel Kirbishley, previously starred in 2 serials of the original Doctor Who series, playing Sir Keith Gold in Inferno and Henry Gordon Jago in The Talents of Wang Chiang. Nice. Now, let's look at Z music. The music playing at the garden party is the 20th Century Blues, originally from Noel Coward's 1931 play Cavalcade. The recording used here, edited together with other period music, is a 1931 recording of Love is the Sweetest Thing by Ray Noble and the New Mayfair Orchestra, featuring vocalist Al Bowley. And now finally, the editing. A framing device featured the aged Agatha Christie, played by Daphne Oxenford, trying to recall the events that took place during her disappearance, was deleted because the producers felt it diminished the story's urgency. The original ending featured the Doctor and Donna visiting the elderly Christie. A no ending of the TARDIS set was filmed after the producers decided to cut the framing sequence, much later than the filming for the rest of the story. The framing sequence and another scene cut for time were present on the Doctor Who Series 4 DVD box set. So overall, this is a pretty darn good, enjoyable episode, and like I said, it's definitely my personal favorite of the season, so yeah. So overall, I give The Unicorn and the Wasp 5 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it around, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell icon to be notified about when I upload videos, and if you want to help support the channel, be sure to check out my Patreon page. Link, as always, is in the description below. And I'll see you all next time as we take a look at Silence in the Library. Ooh. So, until then, this is Sylvian Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I prefer polarity to the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.